Hello everybody, my name is Track394 and welcome to this Minecraft 1.16 sheep wool farm tutorial. So this farm is 100% automatic, and basically all you have to do is just create the farm, put shears into the dispensers, and it will automatically collect the sheep wool and put it into the chests for you. This design is one wide tileable, so you can put the sheep directly next to each other and the wool will not mix together. This farm comes with 3 different modules. There is the base module, which is the most basic design, which will give you your wool automatically and put it into these chests. Then there is a secondary overflow prevention module, which turns off the farm when the chests get full. And lastly, there is a shear refilling module that will automatically refill the shears inside of the dispensers when they get all used up. To build the base design, you will need these materials. For each tile, you will need 2 chests, a hopper, a rail, a minecart with hopper, a dispenser, an observer, 1 piece of redstone, shears, access to grass blocks, and of course, building blocks of your choice. Make sure you have glass. If you do not use glass on top of the grass, it will destroy the grass and turn it into dirt. And of course, I like to use jack-o'-lanterns because they're cheap, but you can use any light source you want. And of course you'll need to be able to put sheep inside of the farm. So to build the first tile, go ahead and take your 2 chests and place them next to each other like this. Point a hopper into it. And then facing away from the hopper like this, you want to place a rail with 2 blocks on either side. And then your minecart with hopper directly on top of that. And then once you have done this, you can put your grass block on top of that minecart with hopper. This is where the sheep is going to stand, and its items will get collected by the minecart with hopper and then put into the chest. Reading the signal from the grass block will be an observer, which will detect when the grass eats the grass. The observer will power this block right here, and that block will power this line of redstone. Because we are in Minecraft 1.16, you want to make sure that the line of redstone is in the cross shape, as you see here. And then you're going to put a block on top of the observer. Because the redstone cross is pointing into the block, this block will get powered. And then that powered block will be powering the dispenser, which will be shearing the sheep and giving you your wool. Of course, you want to put your shears inside of the dispenser like so. And you want to make sure you put as many shears as you can in there so that you have to refill it less. Your farm is all set up and ready to go. One thing I like to do is put more grass blocks around this one just so that there is plenty of space for the grass block in the center to get replenished. And then you can get out your glass and your building blocks of your choice, and you can just place some glass blocks around, maybe some stone bricks like here. And then once you do that, you can put the sheep inside of that space. And then you can cap it off with a light source of your choosing. It's very important that you put the light source in there so that the grass over here has a high enough light level for the farm to be able to regenerate itself. And as you just saw, the sheep ate the grass, which triggered the observer, which triggered the dispenser, shearing the sheep, and the wool went into the chest. And when the grass regrows, as you just saw there, the sheep will wait a short amount of time, and then it will eat the grass. It'll replenish its wool. The observer will detect this, and the sheep will get sheared, and the process will continue itself. Of course, you can add more tiles to this design if you want more wool from more sheeps. In order to do this, you'll need 1 extra hopper. So go ahead and place your extra chest right next to this one. Place 2 hoppers instead of 1. Your rail, the blocks, then the minecart with hopper, place your grass block, and then you can get out your observer, block, same thing as we saw before, and then you can put your dispenser with the shears inside right there, and then you want to put grass blocks around just so that there's a higher likelihood that it will get regenerated. And finally, you can put your sheep inside of there, and your light source, and this tile is now complete. If you want, you could always extend the glass a little bit further, And you can put your stairs and your slabs on top of the chests to give it a more appealing look. You can do this however you want. That's just an example of how you could make the farm look a little bit nicer. And as you can see, it's already giving me all the wool I could possibly need. If you just sit here within an hour or two, you will pretty much have a whole row of wool here. And if you wait even longer, you'll eventually fill up the chest. Alright, so you have your base design, and your farm is working nicely, and you go away for a few hours letting this thing work in the background. And then pretty soon you're going to discover that there's going to be lots of items on the ground causing lag and causing all kinds of problems for you in your world. Why is this? Well, you see there's no measures in place to prevent wool from overflowing the system. And eventually, if you just let the system run infinitely, you will get to the point where you are shearing your sheep and leaving items on the ground unnecessarily. One of the things that you can do to prevent this from happening is by adding an overflow prevention module to the base design. To do this, you need all the same materials as you need before, except you will need an extra piece of redstone dust, a redstone comparator, and 2 redstone torches. So building the design is just the same as before. You're going to start out with the base design, which I will quickly go through. So once you have put the minecart with hopper on top of the hopper, what you're going to want to do is get out your comparator, and you're going to place a comparator reading the signal from this hopper pointed outwards, like this. You're going to face the comparator into this block right here. Then you're going to get out a redstone torch, placing one right there, block, redstone torch, and then you're going to put a block right here. And of course, I will continue with the rest of the design of the farm, but you will see that that block right there is actually the block that the observer faces into. So the observer faces into the same block that is directly powered by this redstone torch. Now as you can see, it is off right now, so the observer will be able to power the block and trigger the dispenser. But the moment an item goes into this hopper right here, this comparator will get triggered, turning off this torch, turning this one on, and this will turn this signal on. So if an item sits inside of the hopper for a long period of time, this signal will remain on, and it will prevent the dispenser from continuing to be triggered in the future. Thus, that turns off the system and prevents the sheep from having its wool harvested. So I'll go ahead and finish the design and show you this in action. Okay, and as you can see here, I have finished the design, and this chest is 100% full of items, and the hopper has 3 wool inside of it, which triggers this comparator, doing the same thing we saw before, and it causes this dispenser to remain powered. And because of that, even every single time that this observer triggers this block and turns on the dispenser, because it's already powered, it's not going to actually trigger anything. It basically turns off. And as you just saw there, the sheep ate the piece of grass, updated the observer, but it did not get sheared because the system is full. When the system is not full, like let's say when it goes from full to having space in it, then when the sheep eats the next piece of grass, or when the observer gets updated, then it will get sheared as it should be, and the system will turn itself back on, and there will be no problems. Of course, one thing you may notice with this design is that whenever the sheep eats a piece of grass and is sheared, this dispenser will get triggered twice. But there's nothing to worry about, because if the sheep has been sheared already, it will not waste any durability on these shears because it's already been sheared. The system is smart. If you want to add another tile onto this, it's the same thing as we saw before. You're just going to add an extra hopper, and you're going to move everything out 1 block, which I will do very quickly for you. And as you can see here, the design is exactly the same, and everything gets triggered as it should be. Make sure you put the redstone cross right here. All you're doing is you're just moving the hopper out 1 block, and you move the comparator chain out 1 block as well. One thing you might notice is that when this farm here is full, this redstone cross will also point into this block right here, which means that this farm will inadvertently get turned off even if it's not full. So in order to prevent this from happening, it is imperative that you use that extra piece of redstone dust that I told you about earlier. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your redstone dust, you're going to create the line so that this redstone dust is pointed only into this block and not this one, and you don't want these to connect together, so you're going to block it off with a block right there. And so by doing this, if this tile right here gets turned off or activated for whatever reason, it will not interfere with this tile right here. And because this cross of redstone is going into this block, even though this block is getting powered, it's only being weakly powered, so it will not turn on the redstone dust here, and nothing on this side will get triggered. This is very important. If you do not do this, then you can possibly have different tiles interacting with each other. This tile right here does not matter as much because there is no system that turns off each of the tiles. So if this one activates this one, it's really no big deal. But of course, if you want to, you could just do the same thing. You could add the line of redstone right here if you really want to do that. It's up to you. Alright, so you know how to make an automatic wool farm, and you know how to add a module to keep it from overflowing. But what do you do when the farm runs out of shears? Well, if the farm runs out of shears, obviously the sheep will not get sheared and it's effectively shut down and you won't get any items. So what we can do is we can make an automatic shear replacement system. We can add this to the farm in order to make it so that shears will have to be replenished a lot less often, and it'll make it a lot easier to do so. That way you don't have to individually go into each dispenser placing in the shears. Instead you can go to one place and just drop them all into a bunch of hoppers or into a bunch of chests. It's up to you. So to build their shear replacement system, it's exactly the same as the previous modules. The overflow detection module is actually completely optional. You don't have to add it if you want to, but I highly recommend it. And of course you're going to need a lot more hoppers and a lot more chests and a lot more shears in order to add the shear replacement module. But doing so is fairly easy, so you go ahead and build up your tiles as you choose. And then what you want to do is get out your hoppers, place them onto the tops of the dispensers as you see here, and then you're going to point hoppers into these outer tiles so that they're all kind of lined up like this, one next to the other. And then assuming that this is the final tile and you want to go build in this direction, you can put a hopper placing into this one like this, and then a series of hoppers pointing into that line right there, as you can see here. The reason why we do this is because when the items flow from left to right, as you can see here, if I can place it, any items that go into this hopper will go here. This hopper will check below it. If this one is not full, then the items will go into here. If this is full, then it will go to the right, do the same thing, go to the right, and do the same thing. And it will continue doing this as far out as you build the farm until it gets to the last one that you see here, in which all the items will go directly into this hopper. So all of the items will fill starting with this dispenser, and then this dispenser, and then this one from left to right. And this line just ensures that this distribution occurs. So once you have pointed all of the hoppers into all the dispensers as you see here, you can go ahead and start placing down your chests. So in order to do so, you just place them like so. You want to aim hoppers into the chests so that the items will file inside of each one like this. And you can build this up as high as you wish. When you have finished stacking the chests as high as you desire, you can go ahead and get out your crafting table if you want, and place it near this topmost hopper right here. The reason why we want to put a crafting table near this hopper right here is so that it makes it easy for us to craft shears. So what you can do is you can get yourself up some blocks of iron from an iron farm or whatever source of iron you have. And then you can just shift right click your iron, and then you can shift click your shears, and I don't want that many, but basically you want to fill up your inventory with shears as you see here. And then what you can do then is you can just use Q to throw the shears onto the ground and into the hopper. Or a faster way is you can just use the double click method to automatically fill up the chest with all of the shears like this, and all of the items will flow from this hopper or from this chest into all of the hoppers and chests below it, filling up the entire system automatically, thus giving you an easy way of filling up the entire system from one spot. And of course, each of these chests has a 9x6 area of 54 shears, 54 shears in total, which is enough to fill up 6 different dispensers. So for every single double chest you have, that will refill 6 dispensers. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3 double chests, so that's right there is 18 dispensers worth of shears, and then of course a large number of hoppers. So as you can see here, the system will not need to be refilled for a very long time, and it makes it very easy for me so that when I do need to refill it, I only need to do it once in a long while. And there you have it. That is how you make a 100% automatic, one-wide tileable, compact sheep wool farm in Minecraft 1.16.1. If you guys have any questions, or if you see any possible improvements to the design, or find any bugs in the design, feel free to leave a comment in the comments section, and I will be sure to address those. You guys will also find a world download of this world in the description of this video. Be sure to check that out for yourselves and take a look at it. And if you guys have any ideas for possible other designs that I might consider, or if you guys just want to leave some constructive criticism, you could always do that in the comments section. I'm always happy to read those. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, definitely consider leaving a like on it, or maybe even subscribing to my channel. I always appreciate the support, and it encourages me to continue to make tutorials like this. But without further ado, thank you guys very much for watching, and take it easy, everybody.